Hello, hello, it's Carrie, So Much Glitter. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to have you here today. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bells and you'll be notified when I come out with new content. Today, I'm going to do the palette cleanser that I talked about in my last video, which I didn't do. I just jumped right into a Christmas card, but that was because the craft roulette parameters called for it and they were speaking to me. So today I am going to do the palette cleanser. I had mentioned in a previous video that my daughter had thrifted some books. Actually, they were in the free section at the thrift store. So she grabbed a few of these and she grabbed these. These are big, thick hardback books about designing flowers. And for some reason we were thinking that they were very old. I think to her they are, but they are, this was still unprinted in the 2000s and these concepts came from like 2011. I am going to be cutting up this book. Like that was the purpose of her bringing this book, and she brought another one home of the exact same series, I guess. So she thought that this would be perfect for card making, for birthday cards, for whatever. So as my palette cleanser in between the holidays, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a birthday card today. And as you can see, like these books, well, I don't think you can see. This book was like $35. So this wasn't like a cheap book. This is probably like a legendary designer somewhere in New York, obviously. So, but yeah, she brought home this one and this one. So anyway, so we found a few things in here that would be perfect for just fun journaling, card making, whatever. So I did fold over a few pages and I thought, yeah, I want that. I thought this would be perfect. We're going to make a birthday card today and it's going to be nice and bright and festive, but it's also going to be a little bit fun. So I do like that. I thought that this picture would be perfect. Like he's wishing you a happy birthday. This would also be great. So I'm probably going to trim that out. Let's see. There's a lot of really fabulous pictures in here. Actually, I really love this. I mean, this kind of stuff would be perfect for, I really like this one. I think I'm leaning towards this one because it's just fun. It's like happy fun. It could be a little bit snarky. I like it. But I thought that this would be perfect for like a lot of journaling and card making. The pictures in here are absolutely gorgeous. The hairstyles and some of the poses are a little bit outdated. I can't believe we were still doing that in 2011, but hey, you know, here you go. I mean, these are very nice pictures. They're very beautiful flowers. The models are beautiful, but just the looks and the style just, yeah, it has me cracking up a little bit. I did a little bit of that kind of thing back in the 90s, so I can make fun of it. It's perfectly fine. I have some cringy pictures out there too. I just love, you know, it's just fun. I think it would just kind of go with any aesthetic and it'd be like a special little treat in a journal. Tip outs, things like that. Love Bird of Paradise. They grow really well where I live. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start trimming up the book, but first I'm going to make the cards. So let's set this aside. I did not have any more 5x7s in my stash, so I'm going to have to make a card base. And then I am going to do a pattern paper with it because I thought that I must do that. I honestly do not know where this pattern paper is from. This is in my stash just like that with cat hair on it. But I think it's like Joann's or something when Joann's was around. I just collect, honestly, paper packs when they're on sale at different places. And I thought a few of these papers would be really fun. I really, really like this. So first things first, let's make our card base. I am out of 5x7 card bases because I have been making a lot of 5x7 card bases. So I'm going to open up a brand new pack of paper. I know in a previous videos I've said I normally use a really heavy weight cardstock for my card base, which is historically true, but I'm kind of getting away from that just a little bit because with the journaling and all of the layering and things like that I do, I just add like a lot to the card. So it doesn't necessarily need to be really heavyweight, but this is 110 pound cardstock. I did get this at Michael's because it's their recollection. They have really good sales on paper, so that's why I did that. This 110 pound might even be a little bit heavy, but in the past I've done 140 pound, and that tends to get really heavy. Let me get out my paper trimmer and we can kind of get going. I am trying to take another slow morning as I have work a little bit later, and I have a doctor's appointment before then, and I'm getting ready to go on my vacation. So I have to do dishes. I have to clean out my car. Like, I have a lot to do, but I really wanted to kind of just embrace the morning, especially with all the creepy things that have been going on in our neighborhood. And we've been getting a lot of neighborhood support from that. So that's really great. Okay, so what I do, because in the heat of the moment and just like, you know, crafting and concentrating on other things, I'll forget. So I always make myself just like a template for a card, right? So I'm going to make a 5x7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to trim my paper down to 10 inches on the long side and then 7 inches on the shorter side. And then I'm going to score it at 5. I always have one of these because I don't know. I get going, I'll get talking, I'll get watching TV, I'll be listening to a podcast. Something will happen to where I'll forget what I was doing and where I was at. I always save these. And as you can tell, I have my messy mat out today. Oops, I cut that. That was weird. I think I need a new blade because these are fraying a little bit. So hopefully that's 10. Hopefully this cut it down to 7 and not too short. There we go. Okay. So we're going to score it at 5 inches. Yeah, so my desk isn't always like the neatest. And I noticed in some of my videos, I was like, oh, like my things like look dirty or whatever. But you know, they're not dirty. Like I do dust in here and things like that. But I'm crafting all the time and things are going on. There's adhesive stuck to things and, you know, it's just kind of what it is. And if you're here and you're a crafter, you're going to perfectly understand something like that. So my messy mat it is today because I don't want to have to worry about not getting glue or anything and like doing extra cleanup. I just don't have time for that. I need to get out my luggage and start packing. I'm leaving in the morning. I haven't even packed. Yeah, that's just kind of the state of it. And I still have to work today. So, you know, work is really getting in the way of my life at this point. But isn't that the truth for most of us? But it's a necessary evil. So we can do fun things like this. Set this off to the side. I'm just going to make a few. This is what I do when I make card bases. Let me know how you make card bases. Do you make card bases in bulk? Do you just make one at a time as you need them? I normally, when I have time, oh, and I also have homework to do. That reminds me, I have to do a therapy session with my daughter. That will be fun. Do you like make a bunch of card bases at once and put them in your stash? That is what I try to do. I will like get a good movie on, get a good documentary on. I really like that. And I'll just start making a bunch of card bases and then put them in my stash and then use them all and not realize that I needed to make more. That's where we are now. I didn't realize that I needed to make more because for some reason I just thought my stash was an endless stash of card bases, and I don't know, my card base fairy is in there while I'm sleeping making card bases, so I don't have to worry. Well, I'm the card base fairy, and I was not hard at work while I was asleep. I was asleep. So here we go. Okay, so we have just a few. I've been leaning more towards the 5x7 a little bit. I really need to replace this blade because it's like fraying at the edges. I've been leaning more towards the 5x7 card making because it gives me a little bit more real estate to tell a little bit of a story and have a little bit of a fun with like making a scene. I really do like A2 cards too though. Like that's my first love in card making, was the A2 cards. So I still keep those in my stash. I do save these for sentiments, and I'll do like some inking on them, distress spraying on them, and just use them as belly bands and things of that nature. And I'll just kind of put them off to the side where my ink is. Okay, so here's all my card bases. We are probably only going to make one card today, and I folded that a little bit uneven. So I still do need my trimmer out. I prematurely put that away. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Dutch door card, because I had so much fun doing that with the craft roulette, that I thought, you know what, I might as well. I just think that this would be like a fun card for the whole Dutch door thing. And so this is the 7, so I can try to cut it in half, or I can kind of, you know, have it be like a Dutch door and be a little bit uneven, because some Dutch doors that I've seen growing up on farms and things like that were not always even, and I think that was on purpose. Like there was more taken out of the top than the bottom, and yeah. So let's see, we could do, I could try to do, let's see, I'm kind of thinking we could do, that's more even. I'm just going to cut it right down the middle there. Oops, I didn't probably think that through, did I? And then I'm going to cut this, and then what I'm going to do, so you can see where that's fraying, I am going to trim that off a little bit. And I'm gonna save this, because this will be, I could make a pocket out of it. I'll save that in my stash. That'll be perfect for later. Okay, so as precise as we try to be in card making, not everything is gonna be perfect, so. There we go. Get that as good as we can get it. Put that off to the side in case if we need it again. Here's my messy side of my mat. If you watch me collaging a pumpkin, I still have gold paint on this. I don't tend to clean this off. Okay. Let's get going. I really want to do this, I think, as the back. So I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to put like a fun picture in here, and then I'm going to put more flowers and a sentiment in here. I've got glitter going everywhere. Let's just kind of peruse through here. This one came with a lot of blank pages, so I don't use this a whole lot, but this came with like, it's not vellum, it's like acetate as well. I really like this too. It's just like old-fashioned wallpaper is kind of what it reminds me of, but I like this side too to cut up and or use and do things with, although there's 2 of them, so that's me hoarding a little bit. I tend to do that. I want to use this. I really like this ledger paper. I think that's what I'm just gonna do that. And then these are the sentiments that we're gonna use, because they're nice, bright, and shiny, and I think that they just fit with the theme of the whole palette cleanser perfectly. Okay. I'm going to get out my trimmer again, and yeah, how many of you are full on into the Christmas card making season? Like, this is upon us. Time is here. Thanksgiving is just in a few weeks, which is really, really weird. 2025 is almost over, which is another super weird. Let's see, 5 by 7, not 10. We're not making a card base. So if you're fully into the card making season, do you guys stick with a theme? Like, do you mass produce one style of card? You know what? I did not think this through. This is directional, isn't it? Do you stick with one theme and mass produce, like an assembly line, or do you make individual creations and just create cards that way? What I do is I'll do a few. So this is where we find out that my measurements were not exactly perfect, but I'm not going to be mad at it. I think that it's going to be just fine. I tend to do, I get bored with the whole bulk making card thing. I won't do all of one style, but what I will do is I'll do a few of one style. And then, like, I'll do 5 of one style, 5 of another style, and kind of move on from there, just so I have a little bit more creative freedom. That's just what I like to do. But I know not everyone's the same. I know a lot of people just want to make the same style card and make a bunch of them and mail them out. You know, whatever you like to do, but I like to find out like what other people like to do a little bit too. So now I'm not the perfect mathematician. Now I think I need to trim this down just a little bit more to kind of create a little bit of a white space around it, because I only have a white space around one of them. And that might be a little bit too much, but we're going with it. We're going with it. And this is where I must stop. It must be what it is from here. And that is fine for me. Okay, perfect. I did not want the same right here. I did not really think about this part of the Dutch door, although that's very cute. That's very cute to me. It's just very like retro. So instead of measuring it, this is how I am doing my handy dandy measuring this morning. Most days I am not getting out like to the exact science. I'm that way with my sourdough too. That really just, I just am. You know, I'll measure things, but I'm not gonna like measure things to an exact fault. And yeah, so this probably needs to have a little bit of white space around it as well, just so it's a little bit more matchy. I measure my sourdough in cups. I know my friend that gave me my starter would say, no, friends, it needs to be the exact grams and measurements. And I just, that isn't fun for me. I have a kitchen scale, but I don't know. I just don't want to do it like that. So I measure my sourdough in cups. I really do, when I'm mixing my starter, I really follow the consistency, like the pancake batter consistency. And I know I have another paper over here sometimes. I like this, Have a Great Day, because this could be for anything, right? This could be for birthday. This could be for like whatever. And since I didn't get out any stamps today, and I don't really like to like pigeonhole myself into what is this card for, unless if I am making this for a specific occasion. So then I will, but I don't. I'm just kind of making this for my stash. And my daughter loves the cheesy little picture birthday ideas. So what I tend to do is I make a bunch of cards and I'll give them away as a Christmas gift, and so they have their own stash. I've done that for my mom for like 10 years. I've done that for my daughter the last few years, and her friends really like it. So that's what I'll do. So then they have plenty of birthday cards and like whatever cards they want. I'll do Halloween because that's her favorite holiday. So yeah. Probably gonna put have a great day just right up here, big and bold. Let's get out the book. And let's start trimming it down. But yeah, so I don't measure everything like, that is so funny to me. I don't measure everything like in an exact measurements. I like the pancake batter consistency. I really like that for some reason. That just is so funny to me. I'm going to tear this out. If you don't like books being torn apart, my apologies. This was in the free bin. So, I don't know how long they stay in the free bin for at the local thrift store, but from there I can only imagine that they probably go to the dumpster, which is unfortunate because, you know, obviously somebody worked really hard on this book. This person's very successful. You know, the New York School of, what was it? Lessons from the New York School of Flower Design. Has to be, you know, not like the worst school out there if they're making books, like a whole series of books about it. Flower design is a beautiful art. I love it. I just can't grow flowers long enough to design them. I can keep my flowers alive though when I buy flowers. So there's that. Okay, and I had an idea to find a little book. I love this picture because it's just very vintagey. It reminds me of my grandma because my grandma loved flowers. She always had a typewriter, and she had a big black and white picture of her that I think my aunt gave her for Christmas or something one year, of her nursing school graduation. So I always really liked that. That was always in her house. I was just thinking to find a fun bouquet. I thought I found one further back here, but I don't remember where everything is. Oh, there's a smaller picture of that. That's going to be perfect. I'm going to put that in a journal. So what I'm going to do is fold this up and put it here. We don't have to be folding any more pages if we don't want to. That's pretty. That might work with that, right? Kind of keep that in mind. I don't want this whole video to be me flipping through this book. I probably should have flipped through this a little bit better before I started the video. So you see what I'm saying about the fun, silly smiles and the hairdo, and yeah, it's just fun. It's fun. Okay, so I could cut out one of these, which might be a little bit more feasible for that page. That might be what I'm going to do because that's going to be a little bit smaller. So as we see, we have lots of different options for flower design, for journal design, for card design. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I really like this one too, but I think that that one's a little bit too big. So if you're very interested in flower design and flower arranging and things like that and just don't know how to get started, go to your local thrift store and see if you can score one of these fancy books and you can get all of this knowledge about it. Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. And I am just gonna tear out the pages. This isn't gonna be easy to do because these weren't meant to do this, but that's what I'm doing because they're really thick pages. So we want this, and we want to open this up and have a flower here, and we want somebody to have a very great day. I'm thinking that this one might be a little bit too big, so we want to kind of scale it down over here. So I'm going to cut this up, and then what I'm going to do is put these pages right back in the book, and I'm going to put this in with my paper stash because these books are too big. They're not going to fit on, let's see, they're not going to fit on my bookshelf. I'm just going to fussy cut around this in kind of a bubble cut fashion. what would be really fun, and I don't know if I have it within reach, is to put like a foiled piece of paper around the outside of it as like a shadow. That would be a lot of fun, because it would stand out, but I think my foil paper is up there. Oh, I might be able to do a few of these. Okay, okay. Could do 2. So what is everybody working on? I know we talked about Christmas cards, and I just assumed that that's what everyone is working on. But you know what? That might be a poor assumption. I'm working on this palette cleanser, but you know what? This is very Christmas-esque because this is going to be part of the gift box that I'm giving away. I think I'm going to probably put this in my daughter's. You know, we might be able to fit a third one. We might be able to fit a third one. Let's see, let's see. And then that's one whole page that we would have used out of this. Yeah, so I know my daughter's going to appreciate this. I'm going to probably make a few of them for her. I'm probably only going to make one on video. And then I will make a few next week. I'm only going to be gone a few days because it's Vegas and I don't need longer than a few days in Vegas. And because it's just a simple road trip for us. So we're going to go see and experience all the fun things that we want to on our agenda. I'm going to take a sip of my tea over here because I am filming this before work. I have another fun little Christmas mug going on. Excuse me. That reminds me that Starbucks has their holiday, they dropped their holiday drinks today and their gifts and things like that. So I don't know. I have enough points in my app to where I might go grab me a free one. I don't know. We'll see. So this is my Friday and it's been a long week at work. I feel like the last month that my job has been this way. And I have a feeling that it's just ramping up because of the holidays and, excuse me, behavioral patterns. It was a full moon last night, so there's still going to be remnants of that, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, you might think that that's a little bit hokey or whatever. I don't know what the word for it would be, but there's my Gen X word for it. You might think that that would be a little bit silly. I might put a paper right here too. But behavior patterns, this is not the only job that I worked in that deal with human behavior. And behavior patterns are really, really affected by the universe and the weather, the time change, nature, big political things going on this week. So yeah, that will affect it all. And that kind of determines if certain people are going to come to their counseling sessions, come to the group sessions, come to, you know, their medication adherence appointments, things like that. It really does affect everything. And man, oh man, has it been affecting the past few weeks. So I don't have a whole lot more to choose from in here. I'm thinking, I do like this. I really like this actually, but there's with that green. I might do this because this is good in between. It kind of fits with the flowers. I didn't want to do like flower on flower, but I think for right here it would be fine. Or we could leave it blank and then that's where you leave your message. So let's just continue on with my plan because I'm not really sure how I want this to go. We do want this to be backed though, right? So I did not think of that. So to get that fun flower paper in there, let's go ahead and back it. And we'll continue on. But yeah, that whole parameter for the Dutch door parameter really got me thinking like, oh, those are fun, like fun interactive cards, right? Where I don't have to get out my die cutting machine, and I don't have to get out all my fancy dies. So I might need to ink this up just a little bit because there's a little bit of that white edge. I may not need that one. Hold on. I'm thinking like inking it up like a yellow would be fun. But we could just stick with the neutrals, like a fun tea dye. I could do our tattered rose. That might be fun. Let's see, what else? Squeezed lemonade's gonna be way too bright. Fossilized amber is the other one that I was thinking of, and that might just be fun to kind of, oops. Yeah, let's knock things down in the craft room. Okay, I think I'm going to do the fossilized amber because I think that that's going to be fun. This is more of a neutral anyway. Okay, so this is another thing that you could use your scraps for. Cleaning off your brushes. And if you want to get really fun with it, you could save these for scraps as well for a future project. So I'm just going to kind of, and that really just kind of makes this a little bit more worn. And I'm going to do the bottom as well. And that's where I'm perfectly fine that I have this. That looks like it got wet or something. It looks worn, so it'll add to the whole vintagey look. That's where I don't mind that I have this mat out. And I'm going to trim this down. And then this is going to be backed. And I'm going to try to trim it as closely as possible because I do not need a, try to get it right on the line. I do not need a frame around it because the inking is the frame, if you can see that. So then it's backed like that, and so then that's how it's going to go. I'm going to put this back. I have not used this paper pack in I think like 2 or 3 years, so it's kind of nice to pull that out again. Okay, we're gonna just place him right in the middle. He's wishing us a happy day, like have a great day, gals, or whoever. Let's see, from here below, I don't want to get glue on the wrong side. Because I do the crafting for self-care and for other people's enjoyment, I'm not like the crafting scientist with the measurements and things like that. Although, yes, that is important when you're doing things. But there's always going to be a way around of any little mess up that you do. Like if I would have made that really uneven, so I try to look at it head on to myself, but if I would have made that like really uneven, I could have like offset things or add embellishments, which adding a little bit of jewel embellishments might be a little bit of fun for this, huh? That might be just a little bit of fun. So let's see about that. Because that stash is not too far from my fingertips. Because it will add with the foiling that we have on the Have a Great Day. So we'll get it all put down and then we'll see what we want to do. Let's continue on, I think, with the inking, so it just makes a little bit more sense. I think it's just a little fun. Kind of gets that yellow in there and it blends in a little bit better. I like the bubble cut because it gives it like a little bit of shadow, but we could have cut it right up against the line too. So it was really like just kind of placed on the page and it could look a little bit more 3D. I like doing this because to me it gives it a little bit more dimension because of the white background. I just think that that's a little bit of fun. And then that white kind of fits in with the theme of everything that's going on. So I'm going to layer these up just a little bit. I don't really have them grounded on anything. That might bother me a little bit too. So, well, I'm not going to be able to do them uneven. I was thinking to cover it. We can create like a little bit of a shelf if we want. That's being extra fussy. I do realize that, but I think that there's wood grain in here. And this is embossed wood grain. How funny. Handy little paper pack. Okay, so let's do that. We're just gonna trim that down a little bit. My cat decided to lay on the paper trimmer, so that's a lot of fun. I always trim this off because it does bother me. That's where it was hanging on the rack, or where it could be hanging on the rack. So you always lose a little bit there. I think I bumped the camera. So this is going to be the 5 side. It's 5 inches long. Set this down and I don't want it to be a thick little shelf, just like a small little something for the vase to sit on, right? Just something real little. So it's just like sitting on the table, just like a little lip. And we'll trim that. Make sure we can see it. Wait, what did I just, hold on. Okay, yeah, I thought for some reason in my head, I was like, wait, what did I just do? I thought I was measuring it the other way. No, I'm not at that step yet. I'm thinking ahead. My brain's going like a million miles a minute. Oops. So we do this, just like this. And then we're just going to mark it right here. So then we have our little shelf. There we go. Just something real small that we can sit on. I think I cut that crooked. I do believe I did. Of course I did. Even with the paper trimmer, I cut it crooked. But you know what? I don't know if that's gonna matter. Because it just gives it a little bit of depth. A little bit of depth, a little bit of perspective. And now we can glue it all down, and this card will almost be done. And then this is where we can write our message. And if you've been watching me for a little bit, you know that all that white space really bothers me. I do not know why. Like big blank walls bother me too. But like if I'll be driving down the freeway, or I drive down a really busy road every day to get to work. And like a lot of these nicer neighborhoods will have like the gated neighborhoods that have like walls around them and stuff. They're not like texturing. This is just my tidbit, my community service tidbit for when I was in law enforcement. They're not texturing the walls, like the stone and things like that. So it's just like a big blank canvas. Well, the graffiti artists don't like all that blank space either, so they fill it up too. And then it's just a constant. There's one neighborhood in particular that it happens at. And it's a very nice area, so it's funny. So, but it's like a graffiti artist, so I don't know. But I'll see. I wanted to put this up a little bit higher, but I think I kind of flipped that up, but that's okay. Yeah, I think that's, now I can move it up. I love the wet glue, but anyway, so they don't like the big white space either. And then it's just a constant battle with the homeowners and the HOA, because I'll see like they'll have like city trucks posted out there, so it like to deter people. And it's not all the time. It's just only sometimes. It's mostly, honestly, around school breaks. School breaks is when it happens. So, you know, somebody needing art class. It's not nice to deface others' properties though, because that's a lot of, people pay a lot of money for that stuff. So gonna have to find a canvas somewhere else. I think Michael's has a sale. Enough of my silly chatter. I can go off on random little subjects that sometimes people don't agree with. It's just, welcome to menopause. So, this is my card. That being said, about the white space, I am going to ink it up a little bit. And not like a lot, just a little bit. We're just going to ink up the edges just a little bit. So then it just looks like he's highlighted. Doesn't he look so happy to give you flowers? I love it. He's so excited to tell you to have a great day because you deserve it. You've worked hard. You deserve to have these flowers. Enjoy them. And remember, not all your crafting supplies have to be big and fancy from the big crafting stores or from the online retailers. You can craft on a budget. Go to your local thrift store. You're supporting your community. And if you don't know if you are, ask. Ask where their money goes. You're allowed to ask because you're spending money there. And it is a thrift store. They did get their items for free. So mainly where I live, in a smaller little town, they are mainly church thrift stores, so you know where their money is going. So you know if you like agree with that or not. That's up to you. And then there's another one that goes to grants and things of people and children in the community, and they like they donate a lot to causes around town, beautification, schools, other organizations. So yeah, you know, most of us miss Tuesday morning. I'm with you. I totally miss Tuesday morning, but we have other local little outlets near us that have things at an inexpensive price. And we can get little one-offs at our local thrift stores too. And some people have crafting thrift stores. I'm not as fortunate to have that around me. Like, I don't have a crafting thrift store. Great business idea. Like, maybe that's what I should do. But so there is that. You just kind of want to check around you. I think that's a really great idea. A lot of yard sales too, but yard sale season's pretty much over because of the weather and the time change. I did get a little bit of ink on that, but no worries, no worries. I'll leave it there. I hope you guys had a fabulous time creating this with me. I hope you guys have a great day because you deserve it. You deserve all the flowers, all the cheerful, all the happiness, and whatever little message you would want to write. And it's an original creation made just for you by So Much Glitter. So you guys will want to stick around because I have a fun announcement coming early next week. I'll announce that when I get back from my mini vacation. I'm so excited. Lots to do, lots to do. I've been getting caught up on Friends, and there's a reason why, so I'll kind of post some of that. So yeah, so you're going to want to stick around for that. I'm probably going to have a fun little Advent series. It's not going to be too in-depth. It's not going to be too serious. I just don't have the time for that. But we all want to craft during Advent. And maybe we aren't mailing off Christmas cards, but we want to have fun little creative prompts. So you want to stick around for that. Have a great day, guys. Do something that makes you happy and take part in your own self-care today. Thanks.